नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या डिमांड नंतर आपण आपली इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच इंग्लिशमध्ये सुरू करत आहोत. ही इंग्लिशमधील बॅच मी जवळपास सर्वच्या सर्व लक्ष्मीकांत कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. ही इंग्लिश मीडियममधल्या बॅचची तुम्हाला एक नोट्ससुद्धा मिळेल आणि यासोबतच तुम्हाला या बॅचचे सर्वच्या सर्व व्हिडिओज, आपलं जे ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा लाल कलरचा लोगो असणारा ॲप आहे, या लाल कलरचा लोगो असणाऱ्या ॲपवर तुम्हाला सर्वच्या सर्व बॅच मिळेल. मग या बॅचला ॲक्सेस किती असेल, व्हिडिओज केव्हा अपलोड केले जातील, तुम्ही ते व्हिडिओज किती दिवस पाहू शकता, या सर्व बाबतीतली सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना त्या ॲपवरच त्या ठिकाणी सूचना या सदरामध्ये तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. तर मी तुम्हाला सर्वांना सुचवेल, ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश मीडियममधनं इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच हवी होती, तुम्ही ही बॅच नक्की जॉईन करा. तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा शेअर करा. यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला प्रत्येक कन्सेप्ट सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न तर केला आहेच, मात्र या कन्सेप्टच्या सोबतच त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जो महत्त्वाचा कंटेंट आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जे महत्त्वाचा फॅक्च्युअल डेटा आहे, जो तुमच्या परीक्षेसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त असतो, हा सर्वच्या सर्व डेटा सुद्धा मी त्या ठिकाणी देण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो तुम्हाला सर्वांना विनंती की बॅच शेअर करा आणि जॉईन करा. थँक्यू. हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम यू ऑल टू ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी. Now in continuation to the series of Indian polity, today we are going to study schedules of the Indian Constitution. Now first question, what is the meaning of schedules of Indian Constitution? As we have discussed, Indian Constitution is fundamental law of the land. First thing. Second thing, a simple definition of Constitution. It is rule book, a book which contains rules and regulations to run this country in a democratic way is a constitution. As every book has various chapters in it, has an introduction, and also if you go through some important standard books, you will realize at the end of every book there are certain important tables and informative annexures added. Same is the case in case of Indian Constitution. Our Constitution has certain important table and important annexures added in the form of schedules of the Indian Constitution. So in simple term, schedules of the Indian Constitution are nothing but important informative tables and annexures and important points added in a table format to the book of Indian Constitution. So they are called as schedules of the Indian Constitution. Clear this thing. So let's try to understand these schedules. Before moving forward, again let me clarify one important thing. When this Indian Constitution was accepted, adopted and started its implementation, it had 395 articles, 8 schedules to the Indian Constitution and 22 parts were there. Right now our Constitution has more than 400 plus articles, 22 parts in the Indian Constitution and total 12 schedules are there. Remember, Indian Constitution has total 12 schedules. So this is important thing. Here today we will try to understand all important 12 schedules of the Indian Constitution. Again, what are schedules? Schedules are important informative tables and graphs and charts added into the book called as Indian Constitution. They are schedules. So what is the content of these 12 schedules? It is very interesting. You could get a question for writing as well as you could get a question in prelims for MCQ also. So let's start with the questions. So this is the today's topic, schedules of the Indian Constitution. Now first schedule. What is the content of first schedule? First schedule contains the name of state and their territorial jurisdiction. Basically, when we use word union of states, then this union of states involve states only. Whereas when we use word territory of the state, territory of India. So the word territory of India includes various states as well as union territory in the India. Clear? So here basically remember, Union of India involves various states, whereas territory of India contain various states as well as union territories. Clear this thing? So in this way, first schedule of Indian Constitution contains name of various states and their territorial jurisdiction. Also it contains name of union territories and their extent, means what is their territorial extent. It is given in first schedule of the Indian Constitution. It is covered under Article 1 and 4 of the Indian Constitution, 1 to 4 or 1 and 4. Now second schedule. Second schedule is very important. Second schedule contains various provisions relating to the emolument, allowances, and privileges of various important constitutional functionaries. Basically, second schedule contains money that is to be paid to these important constitutional functionaries for carrying out their functions in a more religious and democratic and constitutional way. So, second schedule contains the amount of salaries, but normally to a senior or higher authority, we do not give salary. They are respectable position. So, we use the word emolument, allowances, and privileges. Second schedule contain emolument, allowances, and privileges. So, you could get a question in prelims. They could ask you, among the following functionaries whose emolument, allowances, and privileges are given in second schedule, they could give you a question. So, those names are important and you have to remember all these names by heart. First, second schedule contain emolument and allowances of President of India, governors of the states, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha, then the Chairman and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Legislative Assembly of the states, Chairman and Deputy Chairman of Legislative Council in the states, judges of the Supreme Court, then judges of the High Court, and finally Comptroller and Auditor General. Clear? I repeat once again these 9 names: President of India, Governor of various states, Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Chairman, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, then Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Legislative Assemblies of the states, Chairman, Deputy Chairman of Legislative Councils of the state, judges of the Supreme Court, judges of the High Court, CAG. Important articles covered: Article 59, 65, 75, 97, 125, then 148, 158, 164, 186, and 221. These are important articles. No need to remember the articles, but please try to remember the functionaries and important personalities which are covered under second schedule of the Constitution. These articles you may not get a question, rather you won't get a question, but you could definitely get a question whose emolument, salary, or privileges are covered under second schedule could be a straightforward question. Then third schedule. Third schedule talks about forms of oath or affirmation. So it talks about what is the format of oath of important functionaries. So how we have to remember this thing? देखिए बहुत सिंपल लॉजिक है. आपको क्या ध्यान में रखना है? देखिए सबसे पहला टेबल या सबसे पहला इंफॉर्मेशन ब्रोशर क्या होगा? व्हाट इज देयर इन फर्स्ट शेड्यूल? बेसिकली इट विल कवर द नेम्स ऑफ स्टेट्स एंड यूनियन टेरिटरीज, and also it will cover what is their territorial extent. First schedule. Then comes second schedule and third schedule. So how to remember the difference between second schedule and third schedule? So here a simple logic: they demand money first and then they take oath. Clear? पहले वो पैसे मांगते हैं, आप हमें पैसे दे दो, तभी हम ओथ लेंगे, तभी हम शपथ लेंगे. So in this way, second schedule contains about money, third schedule talks about form of oath. So that's why second schedule talks about emolument, allowances, and privileges. And third schedule, it talks about the form of oath of important functionaries. Then which functionaries are covered under third schedule? Let's go into it. It covers union ministers. Then it covers the candidate for election to parliament, means those candidates who are going to fill their nomination, fill their election form, their oath or the format of their oath is given in third schedule. Then members of parliament, judges of the Supreme Court, CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General, then state ministers, then candidates for election to state legislature, then members of state legislature and judges of the High Court. So these are the important functionaries whose form of oath has been covered under third schedule of the Indian Constitution. What are the important articles covered under third schedule? Article 75, 84, 99, 124, 146, 173, 188 and 219. So these are all important articles which covers third schedule. So first schedule, name and territorial extent of various states and union territories. Second schedule, money. that is emolument, allowances, privileges. Third schedule, it talks about form of oath, which type of oath in which format is taken by various important functionaries is covered under third schedule. Then comes fourth schedule. Fourth schedule, it talks about allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to the states and union territories. It means it covers two important things. In Rajya Sabha, seats have been allocated to states as well as union territories. It means union territories are represented in Rajya Sabha also. This point you have to remember, because many a time question has been asked whether union territories have representation in Rajya Sabha or not. So keep it in mind, union territories have representation in Rajya Sabha. What is definition of Rajya Sabha? Remember, Rajya Sabha is representative of state government. I repeat once again, Rajya Sabha is the house which is representative of state government. Important thing. It covers Article 4 and Article 80. An important point. Clear? Now here, allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha, what it covers? So it covers important thing, how many seats have been given to which states and union territory. Here important thing, seats are allocated in the Rajya Sabha based on the population of that state and union territory. It means, what is the important criteria? Population is the most important criteria for allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha. Clear thing? So fourth schedule. First schedule, name and territorial extent of states and union territories. Second schedule, emolument. Third schedule, form of oath. Fourth schedule, Rajya Sabha. Fourth schedule is Rajya Sabha. Then comes fifth schedule. Fifth schedule is important. See, why fifth schedule and sixth schedule you have to remember? Basically, two different types of special areas are there. Let us take an example. If this is an India, right? Now in India, there is mainstream land, mainstream areas are there where we people live. But at the same time, there are certain areas are there which have not been touched by human being, which have made an attempt to maintain their sanctity, where aboriginals live, where tribals live. These areas are called as two types of areas. One is scheduled area, second is tribal area. One is scheduled area, second is tribal area. We are going to have a detailed lecture on scheduled area and tribal area. We are going to study these two chapters in a very separate and in a detailed manner. But here, fifth schedule, right? Fifth schedule talks about scheduled area, whereas sixth schedule, it talks about tribal area. Now, how to remember this thing? Many a time we have the habit to write 5 in like S. If you go through the notebooks of kids in this school, you will realize that they do not write 5 like this. They write 5 like S, or 5 resembles S, right? That's why fifth schedule talks about scheduled area. Then what remains? Another area, tribal area, which is covered under sixth schedule. Now you get an idea. First schedule, name and territorial extent of the states and union territories. Second schedule, money. Third schedule, oath. Fourth schedule, allocation of seats to various states in Rajya Sabha. 5 we write like S. So that's why 5 is about scheduled area. Then sixth, it is about tribal area. Sixth is about tribal area. So what is the provision of fifth schedule? Fifth schedule, it talks about provisions which are relating to the administration and control of scheduled area and scheduled tribe. So fifth schedule talks about scheduled area and scheduled tribe. Fifth schedule is covered under Article 244. This is important. Then come sixth schedule. Sixth schedule, it has provisions relating to administration and control of tribal areas. Tribal areas, but that too specifically these 4 important states. Sorry, 4 important states. They are Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. It means sixth schedule do not talk about all these states. Like fifth schedule talk about the scheduled area and scheduled tribe of all India. But sixth schedule do not talk about all India. Sixth schedule talk about the specific 4 states. They are Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. Here I have made a mnemonic. The name of that mnemonic is ATM square. ATM square. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. So, sixth schedule talks about tribal areas of 4 important states. They are Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya and Mizoram. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. Now, why we go in ATM? We go in ATM for withdrawing money. Right? We go in ATM for withdrawing money. But this ATM does not have money. Right? This ATM does not have money. It means this ATM does not have Manipur. These 4 states do not cover Manipur. This is logic contradiction you have to remember. ATM square, these 4 states do not cover Manipur. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. These are the 4 states covered. Other states are not covered. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya and Mizoram have been covered. Remember this thing. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya and Mizoram. So under which articles it is covered? It is covered under 244 and 275. Then comes 7th schedule. Before that, one important point. These states, I will just give you an important addition to this part. That is, these states have 4 states, Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. It covers autonomous district which are 10 in number. I will just read out the names of those 10 important districts. From Assam, 3 districts are there. First is Karbi Anglong. Second is Bodoland Territorial Area District. And third is North Kachahar Hills District. I repeat once again, from Assam, 3 important districts are there. You will get the names of these districts in Lakshmikant also. I will just listen it very carefully. From Assam, 3 important districts are there where this tribal areas administration is there. North Kachahar Hills District. Second is Karbi Anglong. And third is Bodoland Territorial Area District. Then from Meghalaya, 3 important districts are there. These 3 districts are named on the 3 important hills of Meghalaya. They are Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. The 3 important districts are Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. From Tripura, only 1 district is there, which is Tripura. And from Mizoram, again 3 districts are there. One is Chakma, second is Mara, third is Lai. Chakma, Mara, Lai. In this way, tribal area, that is 6th schedule, covers administration of how many districts? It covers administration of 10 districts in the 4 important states ATM square, which does not cover money. It means it does not cover Manipur. Then comes 7th schedule. 7th schedule talks about the division of legislative power. For 7th schedule, 3 important lists are there. One is union list, right? Union list on which Parliament has the right to make laws. Second is concurrent list, where both Parliament as well as state legislature has the right to make laws. And third one is state list, where state legislature has the right to make laws. Do not go into these numbers, as these numbers will keep on changing with coming of your examination. So before going into the examination, keep a track of the latest number of the subject and remember those numbers. No need to remember these numbers will keep on changing. This 7th schedule is covered under Article 246. It is covered under Article 246. Then 8th schedule. 8th schedule talks about the languages recognized by Indian Constitution. 8th schedule talks about the languages recognized by Indian Constitution. Now, here one important thing. I will just give you a hint how to remember these things. Just a minute. Now, how to remember these number of the languages. So, originally, Indian Constitution had recognized 14 languages. Originally, Indian Constitution recognized 14 languages. Then, which was the most important population that entered into India post, what we can say, post partition? It was people from Sindh province in Pakistan. So, the next most important language that was added into the Indian Constitution, or that was recognized by Indian Constitution, was Sindhi language. So, it became 15th language. This Sindhi language was added by 21st Amendment Act. It was added by 21st Amendment Act. Then we added another 3 important languages. They were Namak, NMK. It stands for Namak. What are these three languages? Nepali, Manipuri, and Konkani. So these three languages were added by again 71st Amendment Act, and recently we added another four important languages. Those four important languages are degree of a doctor. It stands for MBDS. Like we have MBBS, here I am just making a change in 1B, and here the degree is MBDS. MBDS stands for Maithili, Bodo, Dongri, Santhali. So it is added by 21 plus 71, it is added by 92nd Amendment Act. So 14 plus 1, 15 plus 3, 18 plus 4, 22. In this way, Indian Constitution recognizes 22 languages. Remember this thing. Indian Constitution recognizes how many languages? It recognizes almost 22 languages. Clear? So this is very crystal clear thing. Indian Constitution recognizes 22 languages. Original Constitution had 14 languages. One language, Sindhi, added by 21st Amendment Act. Then three languages added by 71st Amendment Act. Those three languages were Nepali, Manipuri, Konkani. Then we added four languages by 92nd Amendment Act. They are Maithili, Bodo, Dongri, Santhali. So currently Indian Constitution recognizes 22 languages. And it is given in which schedule? It is given in 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. The name of the languages have been given over here. No need to remember these names, just for the information sake, go through the names once. Then comes 9th schedule. So till this, these 8 schedule were there in original Constitution. We added 9th schedule into the Indian Constitution by First Amendment Act, 1951. Right. So what is the purpose of this 9th schedule? It contains certain laws, rules, regulations, and act which have been provided immunity from judicial review. I repeat once again, 9th schedule contains certain laws, regulations, rules which have been given immunity from any kind of judicial review. These laws and rules and regulations are related with abolition of zamindari, land reforms, and other commerce related matters. Clear? Originally it had 13, but right now it has 282. Now in this case, about 9th schedule, an important case is there which is called as Coelho case. What this Coelho case says, the decision on Coelho case came in 2007. In 2007, Supreme Court said all the laws, rules, regulations, and important pronouncement which have been put in the 9th schedule after 24th of April 1973 are open for judicial review. All the things that are being put in the 9th schedule after 24th of April 1973 are open for judicial review. Why 24th of April 1973? Because it is on this date Supreme Court pronounced Keshavananda Bharati case judgment. And in Keshavananda Bharati case judgment, Supreme Court came out with a very novel concept, basic structure of Indian Constitution. And judicial review is the part of basic structure of Indian Constitution which cannot be violated. That's why they said that this is the most important part we have to remember. Clear? So I repeat once again about 9th schedule. 9th schedule is added into Indian Constitution by First Amendment Act. It contains rules, regulations, and all other things which have been provided judicial immunity from judicial review. Coelho case says anything that is put in the 9th schedule after Keshavananda Bharati case, that is 24th of April 1973, is open for judicial review, as judicial review is the basic structure of Indian Constitution, and it is said by Supreme Court in the year 2007. This is given over here. This schedule was added by First Amendment Act 1951 to protect the laws included in it from judicial scrutiny on the ground of violation of fundamental rights. However, in 2007, Supreme Court ruled that the laws included in this schedule after April 24, 1973 are now open to judicial review. It is given in Article 31B. I will be explaining you what is basic structure of Indian Constitution in detail. So, stay tuned for these lectures. We are going to work on these points in a very explained manner, in a detailed manner. But till then, just keep this thing in mind. Then comes 10th schedule. 10th schedule, it is added by 52nd Amendment Act of 1985. It is about Anti-Defection Act. It means it is about a movement of a person from one political party to another political party. It is Anti-Defection Act, 52nd Amendment Act. About this 52nd Amendment Act, certain important provisions are there. I will just explain you in short. See, what the 10th schedule says. Suppose a person got elected on a particular political party's ticket. Let us say the name of party is A. After getting elected, if this person defects to party B, then in this case, the candidature of this X person will be cancelled under Anti-Defection Act. Clear? This is the point. Many other provisions are there relating to Anti-Defection Act. Here I will just be giving you a broad outline of the points of Anti-Defection Act. Suppose this is a political party A and less than 1/3 members of a party defects to party B. Then this 1/3 member will be disqualified. It means how many members should get defected? At least more than equal to 1/3 members should go from one party to another to prevent their disqualification under Anti-Defection Act. So here it used to be retail defection. Due to this 1/3 clause, it led to wholesale defection. People started forming a group, people started forming a faction, and they started moving from one political party to another political party. It led to wholesale defection. So this provision was added by 52nd Amendment Act, 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1985. So to prevent this kind of wholesale defection, so Parliament again came up with another amendment. This amendment was added in 91st Constitutional Amendment Act in 2003. It was added in 2003. Now what it said? It said from a particular political party A, if less than 2/3 members of a political party joins this party, they will be disqualified. Not to get disqualified, minimum less than equal to 2/3 members should join this another political party. Members means those who got elected to legislature, not party members. Members of legislature, either in state legislature or your central legislature. But here one important thing, Anti-Defection Act is not applicable to urban local government and rural local government. Clear this point? Keep it in mind. Anti-Defection Act is not applicable to urban local government and rural local government, added into the Indian Constitution by 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Then comes 11th schedule. 11th schedule talks about rural local government. It means it talks about Zilla Parishad, Panchayat Samiti, Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. Clear this thing? 11th schedule talks about rural local government. It specifies the power, authority and responsibilities of Panchayat. 11th schedule has total 29 subject matters. Many a time question has been asked about the number of subject matters. Here remember 11th schedule talks about 29 subject matters. This schedule has been added into the Indian Constitution by 73rd Amendment Act of 1992 and the important article 243G. Remember this article by heart. You could definitely get a question on this article, article 243G. Then 12th schedule, it talks about urban local government. That is municipal corporation, municipality, municipal council, Nagar Panchayat and all those urban areas. It talks about, or 12th schedule specifies power, authority and responsibilities of municipalities. It has 18 subject matters. Remember, 11th schedule has 29 subject matters. 12th schedule has total 18 subject matters. This is important. 11th schedule has 29 subject matters. 12th schedule has total 18 subject matters, and this 12th schedule has been added by 74th Amendment Act of 1992, and the important article is 243W. Clear? So these are important features you have to remember. I will just revise all schedule one by one. Just listen it very carefully. Just close your eyes and listen it. First schedule, it talks about names and territorial extent of various states and union territories. Second schedule, it talks about paisa, that is emolument, allowances and privileges of important functionaries. Third schedule, it talks about the form of oath of certain important constitutional functionaries. Fourth schedule, allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to various states. It is done on the basis of population. Fifth schedule, it is like S. That's why fifth schedule talk about scheduled area. Sixth schedule, it talks about tribal area. Tribal area, control and administration of tribal areas. Control and administration of tribal areas of how many states? 4 states. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. That is ATM square. And this ATM square does not have money. That's why this tribal area does not cover Manipur. Now, this 4 states has how many districts? 10 districts of these 4 states comes under tribal areas. From Assam, 3 districts are there. Karbi Anglong, North Kachar Hills District, Bodoland Territorial Area District. Then from Meghalaya, the three districts in the name of the 3 hills, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. From Mizoram, the 3 districts are Chakma, Mara, Lai. And finally, from Tripura, it is Tripura district. Then comes 7th schedule, which talks about the division of legislative power, union list, state list, concurrent list. Then comes the important 8th schedule. 8th schedule, the languages recognized by Indian Constitution. Original Indian Constitution recognized 14 languages. One language was added by 21st Amendment Act. It was Sindhi language. Then we added 3 important languages. They are Namak. Mnemonic is Namak. Nepali, Manipuri, Konkani. These 3 languages have been added by 71st Amendment Act. And just to remember, 21 plus 71 is equal to 92. So the 4 languages have been added by 92nd Amendment Act. They are degree of doctor. MBDS. Maithili, Bodo, Dongri, Santhali. Then comes 9th schedule, which gave immunity to all the act, laws, rules, regulations that are being put into the 9th schedule. But in 2007, in Coelho case, Supreme Court said anything which is put in the 9th schedule after Keshavananda Bharati case, that is after 24th of April 1973, do not have judicial immunity. They are open for judicial review. That is 9th schedule. It is covered under Article 31B, capital B. Then 10th schedule. It talks about Anti-Defection Act. 10th schedule has been added into the Indian Constitution by 52nd Amendment Act of 1985, which said that if less than 1/3 members of a political party joins any another political party, those less than 1/3 members shall be disqualified under Anti-Defection Act. And the decision shall be taken by Speaker of Lok Sabha or Speaker of State Legislative Assembly. But it led to wholesale defection. So again, a new amendment was brought in 2003 under 91st Amendment Act. It said, if less than 2/3 members of a political party joins any another political party, they shall be disqualified under Anti-Defection Act. 10th schedule. 11th schedule, it is related with rural local government. It is added by 73rd Amendment Act of 1992. It covers 29 subject matters and the important article is 243 capital G. And finally, 12th schedule, which talks about urban local government, added by 74th Amendment Act of 1992. This schedule has total 18 subjects and the important article is 243W. So that's all from my side. Keep watching and keep sharing with your friends. Till then, have a good day. Tata, bye bye.